Good evening, everybody. It's now 7 o'clock, so let me call to order the regular meeting of the Daly City Council this Monday, April 10th, 2023. To watch a live telecast or live stream, you can go on Comcast Channel 27, or you can go on YouTube at Daly City Video Meetings, or www.dalycity.org/agendas. There are two ways to participate and submit public comment. One is to submit written comments by the meeting day, and second, to attend the meeting in person. Could we please all rise and say the pledge to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Present.
Dr. Rod,
Present.
Ms. Manalo,
Present.
Mr. Sylvester,
Len Sylvester, present.
Mr. Buenaventura.
I'm present. Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Let's go on to presentations. First up, and the only presentation, is a proclamation of Fair Housing Month to Josie Fulton, Fair Housing Coordinator at Project Sentinel. Ms. Fulton, want to come on up? We have a proclamation that's going to be given by our Vice Mayor, Justin Vanella. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a proclamation for Fair Housing Month, April 2023. Whereas adequate housing is a basic need and right of all people, and whereas this year we celebrate the 55th anniversary of the enactment of the Federal Fair Housing Act of 1968, Title III, 8 of the Civil Rights Act, which states that the discrimination in the sale and rental of housing is illegal when based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. And whereas the Fair Housing Amendments of 1988 extends fair housing rights based on familial status to families with children and based on handicap to disabled persons. And whereas California statutes additionally protect citizens based on age, marital status, sexual orientation, gender identity, and source of income. And whereas California celebrates the 63rd anniversary of the Fair Employment and Housing Act, FEHA, and whereas the City of Daly City supports fair housing efforts to eliminate discrimination in housing and recognizes the benefits of Project Sentinel to educate home seekers, apartment managers, and apartment owners on the federal and state housing laws, and to investigate complaints of illegal housing discrimination in Daly City. And whereas to heighten public awareness, the City of Daly City wishes to focus on public attention on April as Fair Housing Month, presented to you by Mayor Ray Buenaventura and the members of the City Council. The City of Daly City encourages all residents and community organizations to celebrate the value of harmonious and diverse communities of neighbors and to support the goal of equal housing opportunity for all people.
All right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you all for supporting the efforts of having fair housing for all people. I think especially here in the Bay Area, it's an incredibly important effort, and so I really do, from Project Sentinel and personally, really thank your support for this effort. So.
Could you
Thank you.
just
Sorry.
tell us briefly what
Yeah.
Project Sentinel does so that the members of the
Yeah,
public-
definitely. So we have 3 departments. So I work as a fair housing coordinator, which we do fair housing work. That's more of the legal side of things, investigating complaints of discrimination in housing, and also working with housing providers to make sure that they understand the importance of fair housing and the rights granted to tenants. And then we have a tenant landlord department that does more like conflict mediation, dispute resolution. for tenants, and those, unrelated to discrimination. So like habitability issues, rent, that kind of thing. And then we also actually have like mortgage counseling and foreclosure prevention work to help make sure that people that are struggling to either purchase a home or keep their home are able to do so. So, yeah, that's the work we do here.
Is there a cost or?
No, it's a totally free service. Yeah, absolutely no cost, and often, so I do fair housing work. So we will bring in an enforcement complaint, and we can, get some fees for the labor that like I might have put in, and oftentimes we actually give those fees that Project Sentinel might have, claimed actually to our clients as well. So we want to make sure that the clients we're serving are able to receive these services like completely free of charge, and then come out of an act of discrimination actually on the other side of it. So
Can you tell the public your contact information so that if they have?
absolutely, yeah. My name is Josie Fulton. I'm the San Mateo County Housing Coordinator, Fair Housing Coordinator, and I could give my personal email.
No.
I don't know Project Sentinel's number off
Okay,
of.
but we can probably Google it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can probably Google it. We're like housing.org, pretty standard. So housing.org, look us up, certainly, and we'll be happy to help.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah,
Go
just
ahead,
one,
Ms.
just one.
Ryan.
So first, I'm aware of your work, so thank you very much, and then a lot of people. So when you did the legal end, how far can you go, like when you go to the discrimination?
Right.
Does that include like a tenant that may have like 4 apartments, and each is a 1-bedroom, and they charge different rents for different people?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think that would be something we would need to investigate. So,
Okay.
Our work and what the act sets out are certain protected classes, right? So like there's a history of discrimination against Black
Correct.
and brown people in the country, right? So like we need to make sure that the discrimination is not just, I don't know, or it's not like just bad behavior on the part of the landlord. Though,
Or
of course,
anti-Semitic.
we would send them to dispute resolution and maybe work it out that way. And then we would investigate that. So if we had a tenant who was complaining of rents being charged, they heard their neighbors getting like a $200 price break, we would want to investigate that, survey, see if there's like a pattern there, if it's just the tenant in the wheelchair that's getting overcharged.
Yeah.
And then our first step always is to work it out with the landlord or the housing provider rather than bring it straight into enforcement. I mean, of course, that depends on how egregious the behavior is, but we really want to try to make sure that the service remains neutral to a certain extent so that housing providers feel comfortable if they messed up, like if they don't know, the law like I do, to be able to come forward and ask us for help. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And thank you for all, because you guys cover a gamut of services, so.
Certainly.
I'm familiar with that. But thank you very much.
Yeah,
I've sent a
wonderful.
few people your way.
Yeah,
Any
please do.
other comments? Questions?
Thank you for your work.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Sylvester.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much for what you do for Project Sentinel. I see that you also handle domestic violence issues.
We do.
In collaboration with Cora.
Yeah.
And first-time home buyers, which you made mention of that, everybody's different, percentages down, helping them to qualify and what they need, I think is very important. But I want to go on the same lines as Councilmember Di Giovanni in regards to a tenant. What if you have a tenant that has issues at their apartment making it inhabitable? For instance, you cannot use the patio because it's all dilapidated wood rot. Dual pane windows where you don't have any, but you got mold forming within the windows, and subsequently mildew gets inside. And so could that particular person reach out to Project Sentinel
Yeah.
and at least inquire, maybe provide resources? Well, you can go to legal aid, you can go here.
Right.
I think that they would just need some guidance.
Right, absolutely. And that's a big part of what our tenant landlord department does here. So if there are habitability issues, please give us a call or reach out. That's absolutely something we can provide guidance on. I also I've worked hand in hand with code enforcement officers here in Daly City to help resolve issues, and that's certainly something that we're like super comfortable in navigating and have helped tenants through. So absolutely, like habitability issues, all sorts. We really I'm very impressed in Project Sentinel's ability to have so many in-house referrals because of how many our departments are able to cover. Housing is oftentimes I'll be working with someone who's having a discrimination claim that's also having habitability issues, and it could be connected to that discrimination claim. And rather than having to put that out of house and go back through referral agency to agency, we can kind of keep it in-house and make sure that that person gets a full 360 support that they might need to resolve that housing issue. So.
Excellent. And one last comment. I see you offer COVID-19 resources, and it says we are here to assist with disputes over rent payments,
Yes.
evictions, and any other housing issues during COVID-19 and beyond.
It's very true.
So I like to say the proclamation was well deserved, and I thank you for everything you folks continue to do, not only here in Daly City, but throughout San Mateo County.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Ron?
I just want to keep it short. Just thank you for all the work that you all do in
Thank
the
you,
city and throughout the
appreciate it.
county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to say amazing work that you do, especially with our partnership here in Daly City and that continuity. It was one of the organizations that we recommended moving forward with our CDBG funds
awesome.
because of the amazing work you all continue to do. So,
Thank you so much. Yeah, again, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the interest and engagement there.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks,
for
y'all.
coming.
thank you.
All right. So let's go on to approval of the minutes, which is the regular meeting of the March 27, 2023. And let me turn this over real quick to Mr. Piccolotti for some point of information.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to clarify that after March 27th. The March 27th council meeting, during public appearances and oral communication, the second speaker made several very insightful observations, some of which has not been captured in the minutes. But with all due respect to the speaker and to the council, I thought it would be important that I clarified two of the points. And the points are that, for the record, no council member has an assigned city vehicle. And number two, no council member has had an assigned vehicle taken away. Those are two things that I just wanted to clarify. I believe the public comment on this subject should be reflected accurately in the minutes, so I offer that amendment. So that's all. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Piccolotti.
Yeah.
Ms. DiGiovanni?
Mr. Mayor, but I don't think that was discussed at the public comment, at that meeting. That was not, those words were not spoken at that meeting. Aren't the minutes reflective of
you-
the last meeting?
Would
I think what Mr.
you like me to
Piccolotti-
clarify what was said?
Go ahead.
Would you like me to say what was said?
No,
I have it verbatim, but I just wanted to clarify the point.
Mr. Piccolo, I
For the
was just
record.
asking that what was discussed at when the gentleman, which was Mr. Quinn, who was here tonight, when he made the public comment, there was, we're not supposed to discuss anything with public comment, and that nothing was discussed at that time on these minutes.
So,
Which is why I made the clarification tonight, council member.
all right.
But it's not reflective of these minutes. Thank
So
you.
Mr. Piccolotti is just providing.
Yeah, but it's not
information.
part of these minutes.
I understand that, but
Okay.
to be
just so
clear,
he's clear, correct.
the point that he is making is that no council member has been assigned a city vehicle. I don't drive a city vehicle. I don't believe anybody else here drives a city vehicle except Councilmember DiGiovanni. And then he says that no council member has been denied access, I think that's what you said, to a city vehicle. And that's just a point of information, because I think a speaker had raised it and wondered if that was true. So having said that, can I get a motion to approve the regular meeting of the March 27 minutes?
Glenn Sylvester, with the addition of the amendments requested, I recommend approval of the minutes.
All right. Can I
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any objection? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Let's go on to public appearances, oral communications. All right, let's go. I have actually 3 speaker cards. First one is though Margie Power and Karen Hardy of the Leadership Council of San Mateo County. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. I'm Margie Power, and this is Karen Hardy. Our names are hard to pronounce. We are co-founders and co-presidents of Leadership Council San Mateo County, and we're here tonight to just really spread the word about this nonprofit that we're running. We're a county-wide cross-sector leadership development organization. We run 2 10-month programs for people who live or work in our county. One is for senior level leaders. That includes C-suite executives, city staff, elected officials, and nonprofit executive directors. And then the other one is for emerging leaders, so rising stars in the county from all 3 sectors, nonprofit, public, and private sector. And right now we have 6 city partners. We have representatives in our programs from 17 of the 20 cities. We would love to see some participation from Daly City, which is why we're here this evening. And we'd also be happy to come back and do a more formal presentation when we can get on the agenda, if that's possible. We're super excited about the action and the knowledge that we're seeing as we bring people together from around the county 1 day a month, immerse them in knowledge, relationship building, and leadership skills to positively transform our county for the better. So, Karen, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I think you did a great job. But no, thank you for the time today. We are, as the biggest city in San Mateo County, one of the things that our program does is really bring together very action-oriented people around the county, from global companies who are local to San Mateo County, as well as elected officials and our really prominent nonprofits who are doing such amazing work, as we heard today. And they are very solution-oriented, and we like to say that we don't drive policy solutions, but we create the room where great things are happening. So in a very short period of time, we've had some amazing outcomes from the people in our programs getting together. If you've heard about the Farm Worker Equity Express, which is a double-decker bus that is delivering mental health services and telehealth and education services to our farms on the coast, that was a project that came out of last year's class. We had 2 global companies that were in the class, as well as a nonprofit executive director, partnered with the city, who's also one of our city partners, Half Moon Bay, and they came up with the idea, had the design, got it funded, and launched it within 10 months, and that all happened in the class. Again, we could have never thought of that solution, but by putting people together, they were able to come up with that. So we'd really welcome Daly City's participation in the program.
Oh, wow, great. Any questions or comments? Go ahead.
Ladies, thank you so much for coming. In reviewing your website, I see your board consists of the 5 supervisors of San Mateo County who support you.
We have Carol Grimm as a founding board member.
Okay.
And then we have Dave Pine on our advisory council as well.
I see. I'm really impressed with your mission statement. We connect, inspire, and educate established and emerging leaders from business, nonprofit, and government sectors to positively transform San Mateo County and find solutions for the bigger issues facing our communities. And you made mention regarding the bus and et cetera. So I really want to say thank you so much for what you're doing. And I am very optimistic that it's going to grow and more folks, as soon as they become aware of what it is that you're doing, I think it's a great resource to be a part of and to be of. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sylvester, any other comments, questions? Oh, go ahead, Ms. Manal.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's really wonderful around your design where you bring both the business sector, the nonprofit, and the public sector together. And I think to find solutions together, because really having the public sector and then the nonprofit sector and the private sector kind of as a think tank to solve, and it's a testament with that double-decker bus, supporting the farm workers that put food on the table. So really exciting work, and thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. And we have had elected leaders from several cities around the county who have participated in our senior leaders group. So if, we do know it's a time commitment, it's 1 day a month for 10 months, but we really think that the relationships that are gathered and the partnerships that come out of that are so important that it's worth the time if it can be given, yeah.
What times are the meetings?
So they're once a month on a Friday. The full schedule is published when you apply, so it's already on our website, the full schedule. It's 1 day a month, and we meet from 8:30 until 4 on a Friday, once a month.
In different locations around the county,
So,
in
yeah.
person.
We like to expose the leaders in the program to the full assets of the county. So we meet on the coast side, we meet in South County, East Palo Alto, South San Francisco, Central County. So we really move people around so they are aware of all the incredible things that are available. So it's a really interesting, another interesting facet to the program.
And the applications are open now. I'm not sure we mentioned that. The deadline is May 1st.
Does the Brown Act limit you to two members of elected body?
So we actually have one of the city councils is in this year's class, and he does
City attorney, yeah.
City attorney is in the core class this year, and I think as long as we are not discussing anything that would be on an agenda, it is okay to have more than two.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so we have some information cards, maybe we could leave them with
Yes, please do.
the clerk, and it has our website, and again, we'd love to come back and do a more formal presentation if that's a possibility,
Yes.
so.
We will invite you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next speaker card is Bob Quinn. Mr. Quinn.
Good evening, council members.
Good evening.
I actually have the report that I got off the website from the meeting, and there's no mention of a city vehicle, so I don't know what happened, I don't know. Anyway, and it was March 13th, not the 27th. So, please turn the phones back on again, and if not, why not? DC voters deserve to know why this is being done. And it leads me to believe you're not listening, and you might not care, I don't know. We really need to have access to you guys on the phone. Daily City News about appointment of City Manager Tom, and he states in this here that he's going to plans to schedule, it's a nice statement, I like it. He says he's gonna plan engagement sessions in each Daly City neighborhood this summer. And I was surprised at that statement because that is not in his job description. It's, Martell and Shauna didn't do that, as that is a function of the elected officials, the city council members, who are to engage with the electorate to receive direction of what the voters want and bring that back to report about it so council members can direct the city manager about what he needs to do, not the other way around. This is also why council members need to be able to access city vehicles so they can engage with Daly City residents at community meetings and other functions. When Glenn Sylvester was mayor and Pat Martell was city manager, Glenn asked me in this chamber, Bobby, who runs the city? And I said, the city manager. And he said, correct. Then Glenn asked me, Bobby, who runs the city manager? And I said, the city council. And he said, correct again. He was making a point that the city council members are the ones in charge of the city manager and the city staff. That's
Okay,
it.
thank you, Bob.
Could I use my wife's time?
Is that Melanie?
Yeah.
Yeah, you filled out another speaker. Go ahead, 2 minutes.
So, city manager, city staff, individually and collectively. This means that if any one of you asks for help, information, or the use of a city vehicle, it should be afforded to you without an argument or you being told that you are not the boss. The fact is, the city manager The city attorney and the city staff members are indeed and in fact subordinate to you, the city council members. And as such, they are required to do as you ask and follow your instructions. It also means that an individual council member can give them direction, and it does not require the full city council to give that direction in order for it to be followed, such as the request for the use of a city vehicle. Tom was interim manager. He stated that there were two contradicting policies on the use of city vehicles, and he stated that as such he was confused. That was a fact, and so I was just wondering, has that been corrected yet? I don't know. All I'm trying to say is that if anybody wanted to get one for the proper use of the vehicle, they should be afforded that. And I don't really believe it should be the one and only city resident. I don't really believe I should be the one and only city resident to come here and give you all a civics lesson. You already know how to act, and you know what should be done. And the people in TV land need to come over here and talk to you too. I can't be the only voice, but when the phones are shut off, I am the only voice. And so if I make a mistake or I misspeak, I apologize. I'm not trying to bury anybody. I'm just trying to bring points forward as I see them. And you have to go. So, you know, a lot of people can't access it because the Channel 27 video with no audio, so you have to go to YouTube, and a lot of people can't figure it out. And DC website is not user-friendly. That's a fact. And so
Thank you,
if I
Bob.
misspoke, I apologize.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
All right, that's the only other speaker cards. Any written speakers? No? Okay. Thank you. Let's go on to the consent agenda. Are there any items off the consent that any council members would like to pull?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead. Which one?
5, 6, and 8, please.
5, 6, and 8. Anyone else? Hearing none, with the exception of 5, 6, and 8, can I get a motion to approve the rest of the items?
Motion to approve?
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any objection? Hearing none, all those items are approved. Now let me go back to item number 5, which is the report of Statement of Investment Policy. Ms. Halverson, good evening.
Council. So item number 5, the Statement of Investment Policy. It's basically just to update some language that our auditors has suggested during their audit for 21-22 on their memorandum of internal control. And they just wanted us to clarify some language regarding diversification and how we consider Leaf and San Mateo County to be diversified pools. So that was the major update for the investment policy this year.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Giovanni. go
Yes, thank you. First, I want to let everybody know, this is our city treasurer who does a lot of work. And for those who are watching that we don't ever have a chance to see you, and appreciate to let you know that the policy that what she put together, which is pretty extensive, and I would assume it's going to be online, city treasurer as well, to take a look at it, because you'll get to see really exactly what is going on with our city treasurer and all the work that she does. So we're really lucky to have her. It's very detailed. And if you have any questions, I'm sure that she or her staff or anyone would be happy to answer. And that this is their city and you did an excellent job as usual. And we appreciate your work, and we glad you came up to speak. So people will know this is our city treasurer, and she's an elected official, and we're glad to have you. So thank you for all of your work, and this is online for everyone in the public. Thank you very much, Ms. Halverson.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve item 5?
Motion to approve item number 5.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any objection? Hearing none. Thank you, Ms. Halverson. Item number 6, which is to amend traffic regulations to install a 98-foot bus stop zone in front of 2630 Bayshore Boulevard. Mr. Chu.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Item number 6 on your agenda is to amend traffic regulations to install a 98-foot bus stop zone on Bayshore Boulevard. On January 12th and February 9th of 2023, the city's Traffic Safety Committee met and reviewed various requests for improvements, signage, pavement markings, and we do have the recommendation to amend the traffic regulations for this bus stop zone. The San Francisco MTA staff, they did request a 98-foot bus stop zone so that they can provide a location for their bus drivers to stop the vehicles to use the restroom. The restroom that they have is at the intersection of Bayshore Boulevard and Sunnydale Avenue. We did look at other locations. They were either not suitable or not available. There is funding available in the current fiscal year's budget. We will also be requesting SFMTA to reimburse us for the new signs if this is approved. So with that, staff is recommending that the City Council amend the aforementioned traffic regulations. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Thank you. So another reason why I pulled this, because usually the consent agenda is for the transparency, and the people in the Bay Shore know that we do have a traffic committee, and it consists of our Daly City Public Works, our police officers, and others, so that when you are engineers, so when you come into a complaint, and like some of this is a safety issue for them and concern, and they always listen to our Bay Shore residents, and this proves that they do the follow-through, they do the meetings, they do the implementation, and that it is listened to very seriously, and that they have done a lot in the city, and want to appreciate you and your staff, your engineers, and our police department for participating in this and listening to our public about the concerns with our elders, and I would say express at their meetings and such. So this is going to be a great change, and analyzing it for the Bay Shore especially, in that busy area. So I want to thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve item 6?
Motion to approve item number 6.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any objection? Hearing none, that item is approved. Thank you, Mr. Chu. Moving on to item number 8, which is the set time and place of the public hearing of proposed water rates, setting it on June 12th, 2023. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. Before you tonight, item number 6, the recommended action is for the City Council to set time and place of a public hearing for proposed water rates for 7 p.m. on Monday, June 12th, 2023, which will initiate the Proposition 218 process and begin the 45-day comment period. Proposition 218 is the primary state law that we're required to follow when adjusting rates. The City Council must hold a public hearing to consider water rate adjustments. Part of the compliance requirements, customers must receive a 45-day advance notice of the public hearing, along with information on the proposed water rates. What will be proposed is a multi-year financing plan to fund the operations, maintenance, and capital program, the capital projects for the water system. And there are a series of 4% adjustments that will be proposed. Each of those adjustments would be July 1st of those years that you see in the table, from 2023 to 2027. And if the council approves this, the notice for public hearing would be mailed to customers by the week of April 28th, 2023. And then just a little bit of discussion on that. The proposed water rates are based on water rate study and analysis that was put together by your city staff and by financial consultants from Hilton, Farncoff, and Hobson. The analysis was reviewed by the Water Subcommittee. Councilmember Dr. Rod and the Vice Mayor did a good job of summarizing that at the previous meeting. And so it will be a very similar presentation to this full council and the public. And that took place June 12th. Or will take place June 12th. The public hearing will take place June 12th, and staff consultants will present the assumptions and the details of the water rate study to the council and the public, and then the council will make the determination to adopt the new water rates as presented. So as I mentioned, the recommendation is to set time and place of the public hearing for proposed water rates for 7 p.m. Monday, June 12, 2023, initiating the Proposition 218 process and beginning the 45-day comment period. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Along with me are Senior Management Analyst Anthony Tofiga and Chief of Operations Greg Kraus. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. DiGiovanni.
Thank you. So it was on the consent agenda, but I just want to let people know, because when they get the mail, it's going to be 45 days from now. Thank you, Director. This is the Director of our wastewater. And so they know that 45 days from now, and then is there an appeal process, Joshua Cosgrove, is there an appeal process on this, once they get it mailed?
Yeah, the way it works is every water customer account will have the ability to send in an objection to the water rate adjustments.
Okay.
And if 50% plus one of the water customers object to the water rate increase, then it wouldn't happen.
So I know there's a word that they use when they say protest.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think for me, I don't know if that's a legality or not. So for people that speak other languages, when they say protest, they think of protest like going out. So they didn't know they had the ability to appeal. So if we could change, I don't know if we're allowed to, or the city attorney change the language. You have to keep it to the word protest.
Yes, you do. It's statutory. It'll
okay.
be written in the notice.
So, but can it be sent out in other languages, maybe?
I believe it is.
It is sent out in other languages? Because that word protest, even though I guess we're stuck with that one, but anyway, so I appreciate that. And just for transparency's sake, so that people can mark their calendars, and it's going to be 45 days from now, and appreciate it. Thank you for all your work. Thank you, Mr. Cosgrove.
Any other
Thank you,
comments or
Mayor.
questions? Hearing none. Can I get a motion to approve item 8?
So move.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any objection? Hearing none, that item's approved. Thank you, Mr. Cosgrove.
Mayor, if I
Yes,
may.
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was remiss. I wanted to pull item number 7, but the decision has already been made, and it was approved as to which particular items that we were going to discuss for more clarification. But I wanted to give a heads up. I have looked at the master plan fee schedule, and I have a lot of concerns about it. I would ask that my colleagues, when they get a chance, to look at it prior to the set hearing of 5/8. And some of the questions I have is basically cost fee, and I'm looking to get a variance printout with all the no charges that has been taken off of the master fee schedule. I would like to find out what the variance is. What is the loss to the city? For instance, a rental of a particular center now will be no charge. That same center is also no charge for non-residents. So if we can look at how much those centers were making prior, and now that we'll have no charge, how much of it is it a loss for the city, a variance? Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's go on to appointments. Any board, commission, membership committee appointments? Hearing none, let's go on to council committee reports. Any council committee reports? Okay, I have one. Let me just make sure. The Ethics Committee met on March 28th, and there is no further report on the committee at this time. That's my report. Any other council committee reports? Hearing none, how about city council reports? Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to report that on March 30th, I joined the seniors. There's a new program at Gillert Park Recreation Hall, a dancing program for the older adults over there with Commissioner Dory Paniza. It was really wonderful to see that type of activity at the Gillert Park Recreation Hall. And also on March 31st, for those of you that are shoppers at Burlington, I know it was gone for quite some time. It is back at Westlake. And so there was a ribbon cutting very early that morning, but it was really wonderful because they gave a donation to Garden Village Elementary School right close by. And so that was really wonderful to see. On March 31st, I joined the County of San Mateo Human Services Agency, also with ALAS, to celebrate Cesar Chavez Day at East Palo Alto Academy. Senator Josh Becker was there, Vice Mayor O'Keen, Supervisor Noelia Corzo, who was a main speaker, who shared her life story and her triumph in her service as the first elected Latina supervisor. Also, the Filipino Mental Health Initiative was there and present in solidarity to celebrate. And then just this past Saturday, I want to say that was another excellent spring fun day at the Westlake Gym. I want to say many thanks to our Daly City Police, Daly City firefighters, and the outstanding job, I see Denise there, to the recreation staff. It was just phenomenal. So many families came over. It was organized. I mean, when you have little toddlers running around, you know, you got to be organized, and it was well run, and so many activities. Also, in collaboration with supporting our small businesses in Daly City. It was really, really wonderful to see that, and I just wanted to say thank you. There was a lot of happy smiles all around. So thank you for that. Also, had a meeting with some of the CEDA nurses along with Mayor Ray Bonaventura. They have reached out on some concerns that they have had at CEDA Hospital. We will be continuing to work closely with the senior nurses and in communication with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Any other city council report? Go ahead, Ms. DiGiovanni.
Thank you. Thank you. I won't echo again, but yeah, I attended the Burlington. I thought that was great. And as the Vice Mayor alluded to, that getting the donation for the elementary school was fantastic. So also with the Easter, great event, as the hostess with the mostest, that would be Denise and David and Brian, the Daly City teens, the Daly City firefighters, the Daly City Police Department, the Daly City Library, who was out giving free books for the young children that came as well, with the egg hunt and everything else that you guys did. And Daly City volunteers, they did face painting for the children. It was very, I think it's the first time we did it on the Easter weekend. For a lot of people, they're still celebrating Ramadan and Passover as well, but I think it was a great turnout. So I appreciate all the volunteers as well. And to let the people know that contacted me concerning their concerns about the smoking of all levels, no matter what the smoking was at Gellert Park and the other parks, that I asked today that the city manager to look into this and see what kind of ordinance, even though we may have some ordinance on our city properties, to see if we can either strengthen it or make it so that when the wind blows, the children and the seniors at the parks, it could affect their health and well-being, and we want our parks healthy. So he's going to be looking in that with his staff and see what kind of ordinance we can even strengthen. And I also want to say that over this past week, on behalf of, I received a text earlier from the gentleman whose car was crashed, hit by the Callan Park. And although he was in the right, unfortunately his car was hit. He wanted to thank our Daly City Police Department, because when he called the Daly City Police to come out, they came immediately for him. And luckily he has no injuries. And then from there spurred the concerns, and then Mr. Chu, and then the engineers. And this gentleman really wanted to thank everyone. So I wanted to also thank one of the community members who I was meeting with 3 different groups that morning, who drove me over to the area so I could actually see it myself. So then all the neighbors came out, and some had video cameras, some had of what had happened, which really helped the police, so that they know. And it's nice to see the neighbors were connecting with one another and exchanging phone numbers. So know your neighbors and know that our Daly City, they take quick action. They make sure that the safety is number one in our city, and they will always take corrective action. And unfortunately, I believe well, you can't say for sure, but the person that hit this gentleman's car may have been, we don't know, an influence, but his car was pretty badly damaged, but safe. And then also, just to make sure we have for the record, and normally I would address this not at the dais, and I'm not going to in short, but I just want to make sure that the people here know the truth, because people that know me know that I speak the truth. For whatever reasons, whatever people can say, that is something that I do. And it really disappoints me that Mr. Piccolotti chose to make comments at a public meeting as a city manager concerning me as a council member. And I wanted to say that the truth is, from the beginning, and things are ironing out now, which I want to say currently, because that part's true, because I have a regional meeting recently, and that Mr. Piccolotti, because the truth, but in the beginning, was very resistant and very much so. Maybe it's because the role of a city manager, and I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, but I was, for the fact, was not in the beginning allowed. And yes, I am a person that does have my own auto. I have never driven that auto home or abused any of it, but to be falsely and to be, I'm not going to go through that again, but I'm very disappointed and was not in the minutes, and to do so not behind the scenes and be respectful of one another, I'm very disappointed. And because I thought that conversation was between he and I as an elected official and a city manager, and I thought we had ironed a lot of things out, and I think we are at a point where we are ironing out, because I do need to attend my regional meetings and the community events. So I just hope that we move forward from here, and that there will be nothing else of being defensive or saying something about a council member at this dais. Thank you very much. And I want every bit of that in the minutes, please. Thank you very much.
All right, any other, unless Mr. Piccolotti, did you want to say anything? No, okay. Any other council committee, city council reports? No, hearing none. Okay, then let's go on to staff reports. Any staff reports?
Through the chair?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make a comment tonight. I have someone in the audience who spent 30 years as an employee of the city of Daly City. His name's Robert Donati. He worked at DWWR as a supervisor. He's born and raised here, and he currently resides in France, and he take
Wow.
reading it tonight, and I hope you got it.
Very enjoyable.
Bob worked here for 30 years, and I just wanted to acknowledge him in the crowd. I think something positive going on there. Thanks, Bob.
Oh, welcome, Bob. What a life you have in France. You live in Paris?
I live in the Vosges Mountains, eastern France.
Nice.
My son's going to school in Paris. Daly City is a wonderful place.
It is indeed. Thank you for.
My son was the first child to be in the Imagination Station.
Oh, that's great.
A lot of good things.
Right on. Right on. Well, thank you for coming back.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay, I don't have an adjourned in memory list. Are there any council members who want to adjourn in memory of someone?
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
I think you share with the rest of the council that today there was another mass shooting. And sadly, these innocent victims, and we say it over and over, but I'm sure that this council, which has always recognized victims of these senseless, so we could close if the mayor's purview, in the memory of those who now, again, that this has happened, if the mayor
All right,
chooses to.
anyone else want to have an adjourn in memory? Okay, hearing none, we'd like to then adjourn. Let's have a moment of silence in memory of those who perished today. All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.